Mark, the three-point line is obviously a huge conversation when it comes to the Celtics. What did it take from your group to flip that tonight and win that battle?
Tricky, because there's a variance in basketball, and I'd be careful rushing too many conclusions in a single game sample. I thought in the first half we got good threes that didn't go down on a lot of plays, and I thought that contributed to being down 10 on our end, and I thought they got some decent ones in the second half that didn't go down. But in terms of what we could control, I thought our physicality in the second half was completely different, and our disposition was completely different on that end of the floor. Whereas in the first half, they kind of went where they wanted to go. The ball went where it wanted to go. And against a team of that caliber, you're going to be giving them 65 points and a half when you allow them to do that.
And then your second unit, the bench, was really productive and seemed to turn the game significantly into the third quarter, getting the fourth. What did you see from them?
Great confidence. I thought Jay Will went in there with his chest out. Wiggins again, great second half performance from him. Isaiah was stable. K-Rich gave us solid 3 or 4 minutes to start the fourth. We turned the game there to start the fourth with Shea on the bench. That unit did a great job of getting a lead. But 1 through 9, everybody that went in the game tonight contributed to the game.
Well, you were just talking before the game about having compound efforts and in light of missing a guy, you've been missing Chet so long. How have you guys sort of compounded efforts to kind of mimic or replace him? And I guess what did that take tonight against this Boston team?
Well, like I said before the game, it's never like 1 for 1. It's not like this guy's out, so you need this guy to do exactly the same thing. You just need the whole to be better than some of the parts, depending on who the parts are. And the guys tonight did a great job of playing together, working again through the game together. It wasn't a perfect game. I don't think we were ourselves in the first half, and then we pulled together in the second half. And again, it's been a theme this week at parts of the game where we could have frayed. The guys relied on each other, trusted themselves, and we have to be who we are, in these games. And I thought we were that in the second half.
Obviously, Shea's 7 years in, but like his sample high leverage games maybe isn't as big as other players because you guys have really been looking for this year, but you guys have been maybe this good since last year. Like what is it about him that makes him so ready for these high leverage games from wire to wire?
I think confidence, the work that he's put in. I wouldn't underestimate the amount of games like this we've been in now, for the last couple of years. And it's not just him. We're all in the process of forging ourselves into an actualized team. That's an actualized team. That team has been the best team in the league for a couple of years. They've gone through playoff hardships. They've got 8 years of experience with their core. And they've gone through a lot of ups and downs and had to persevere in those to forge themselves into the team that they are. And in the first half, they just outclassed us on that, calling it like it is. And we are in the process as a team, not just Shea, not just one guy. We're in the process as a team of forging ourselves into whatever version we're going to be. And these experiences are important for us, regardless of whether or not we, play a first half where we're 10 points worse, or we play a second half where we're better.
Mark, very specifically, did you see the difference in physicality in that second half? So the first half did seem like they were pushing you around a little bit. That script flipped in the second.
It was everything. I mean, it was point of attack defense. It was we were switching a lot because of Porzingis, and those switches were sloppy in the first half. They were tighter in the second half. They're trying to post the mismatches. First half, they just no pressure on the ball, no pressure on the catch. Second half, more pressure on the ball, more pressure on the catch, and that allows you to get your help in the game. And so it's not complicated. And I thought that was the case against Minnesota the other night. We were down at halftime. They kind of moved the way they wanted to move. Third quarter, the physicality, the pressure amped up. It's not schematic. It's nothing tricky. It's just, guarding your guy with great intensity. And again, being who we are, that's who we need to be. And in the first half, that's not what we were. Second half, that's who we were.
You're talking about flipping the switch. A lot of people think about offense, but you guys seem to flip the switch. Defensively, I don't want to minimize everything. You just flip the switch, but especially these last few games, what would you attribute that sort of flip to?
We're not flipping a switch. It's not that. It's we have an identity that we want to play to on both ends of the floor. No team stays in a perpetual state of that. When you're not where you want to be, you got to get back to where you want to be. And we were not where we wanted to be in the first half of that game tonight. And we reconnected that in the second half. But it's not a switch. It's not a scoreboard thing. It's an identity thing, and we have to be who we are. And we have to know who we are, which I think we do, because that's why it looks like it's quick. And then we have to go be that for as many of the 48 minutes and as many of the 82 games we can.
Shea, the other night in post-game, basically cut off a guy and said how excited he was to sort of play the Celtics. They won the championship. They want to show that they're this. After this is all over now, would you say it's a measuring stick game?
Every game's a challenge, and every game's an opportunity to get better. And so there's a different challenge every single night in the NBA season. Every game tests you in different ways. We have great respect for that team because of how impactful they are, how hard they are to beat, what they've accomplished, what they've endured to accomplish that. Like I already mentioned, that's a team that is battle tested, and that's battle tested together, and they've formed into a great team. That is a great team. And so to test ourselves in that way against that team, we love that challenge, but we love every one of the 82 challenges. The other thing I'll say is this week we've trailed at halftime 4 straight games, and our crowd's been unbelievable. When we go to Boston, we're not going to have that crowd. We're going to have an opposite crowd that'll be ready to punch us back. But shout out to our fans this week too.
Andrew Schlechter, the Athletic. I'm sure you're not surprised about New York's mentality. He was 0 of 8 to start the game, finished 5 of 6 from the field. A lot of times we talk about his defensive mentality and how that translates, but tell me about his offensive mentality and how it's evolved.
Well, it has evolved. He's always kind of been this. His rookie year, the game 7 in the bubble, the guy had 30. Because they left him open, and he delivered in that game. So he's always. When I say we have to be who we are, we have great confidence in our players. They have great confidence in each other. They have great confidence in themselves. And when we're not there, collectively or individually, we just got to tap back into that. We don't have to be any more than who we are. And he steps into those plays with great confidence. And has always been a gutsy player on both ends of the floor. He's just an elite competitor.
You talked about some of the adjustments and changes in the second half of the defense just as a whole against them, but Jaylen Brown in particular, he starts out 8 of 12 with 21 points in the first half. He goes scoreless in the second half. The only stats he reports are 2 turnovers. What went into slowing him down?
We moved Dort on him, first of all. Dort started the game on Tatum, and Dort went to him once he got it going. And I thought Lou did a great job on him. And then just the overall temperament on that end of the floor and our disposition was just different. And you guys talk about adjustments. It's not much of an adjustment. It's just more pressure, more grit, more intensity, and we've got a level we can play at that can really be good on that end of the floor that we weren't up to in the first half. And I thought we did a good job of correcting it.
Coach, you talked about this being 1 of 82, but just when you see the way that fourth quarter played out, execution-wise, just the way you guys were able to pounce on the NBA champions the way you did, how significant is this win?
It's 1 of 82. Like I told you before the game, every game's a different challenge. Every team's we're all playing running our own race. We happen to be bumping up against them today. We'll go our separate ways, so will they. It's the only game we got to play today. It was the most important game today, but there's 82 games. There's half the season left. The reason we're in the position we are right now is because we've improved and we've got our head down and been very present in the competition. And if we want to continue to improve, that's what we have to continue to do.
Shane, the play in the second half where you broke up a lot, you Tatum. I know you have a team full of great defenders, but how much does what makes you guys defensively, the fact that you're a guy who carries the heaviest offensive load, embraces playing that end before too?
He wants to win, and if you want to win, you have to do the invisible things. I thought his trust of his teammates in the first half, really all week. I thought, I think it was a Clipper game where what was the game where Jay Will missed all those threes? Clipper game? Yeah, I think he missed a bunch of threes in the Clipper game. Shea's throwing it to him early. The guy couldn't make a shot. He sticks with it. And then the next night we play New York and Jay Will hits a couple threes tonight. He hit a huge one in the third quarter. And I think that's like invisible play by Shea on offense, and then on defense, there's invisible plays if you want to win that you commit to, and he wants to win, so he's committed to them. But again, he's a great player. No one loves Shea more than me. But we have a team full of guys like that. And everybody's doing that in their own subtle ways inside of their role, and that's why the whole's better than some of the parts.
In a
Go ahead, Daniel. Yep.
Back to Lou switching with Jalen Brown. Correct me if I'm wrong, but him and Kaysen, they switched assignments last game also. Was that the plan going in, or was this how the game?
Well, there's things Kaysen does better than Lou on defense, you know, so sometimes we switch those up, and it's because Kaysen has strengths for individual matchup. But Lou is a disruptor, you know, and so when a guy's get it going, he's a great guy to put on a guy like that because he's disruptive. He's not reactive. You know, he's going to make you deal with him. You know, but he's had, I mean, if you just look at this season alone, the performances he's had defensively on people, this one won't get the same shine because he still ended up with 20 or whatever, but he's done an unbelievable job on the best players in the league. You know, and he does it every single night. He's got his mouth shut. Sometimes he takes 2 shots in a game, and he does it. So, but yeah, we move the matchups around all the time for different reasons. It's not always, we don't always level Lou up to it. Sometimes we level Kaysen up to it. Caruso, dub.
Joel, go ahead.
Mark, quick follow up on that. I do wonder what are the things you think specifically that Kaysen does better as a defender than Lou?
I mean, I'm not going to say it's almost like a knock on Lou if I say it. I mean, they all have different strengths. They all have different things that they do great, and they all have matchups that they handle better than the others. The fortunate thing for us is we have multiple point of attack options, so we can shift things around pretty readily. But they're all great players for different reasons, and we just try to leverage the strengths they have.
Last one. Go ahead. We'll go Joel, Cliff, then we done. Oh. Go ahead. We'll go Riley, Cliff.
I was just curious if you have any comparison or similarities to how you used Al Horford as a high post creator and now Hartenstein. Is that kind of a foundational skill or anything?
We've learned from every player we've coached. The system's evolved over time. We always try to bend what we're doing to the strengths of our personnel. We learned a lot the year we had Al, but no more than the professionalism he brought to the team and the way that he conducted himself. How positive he is, how focused on solutions he is. He's not cynical. That was a team that won 20-something games and never looking for something wrong. He had an unbelievable imprint on the team, more culturally than basketball-wise, as great of a player as